Okay, we are now live with episode 225. Yay, it finally rhymed.
Woo!
Okay, hello. Let us commence. Hello and welcome to episode 225 of the Nerdstravaganza podcast, a podcast worth listening to no matter what planet you're on. I'm Tom,
I'm Brian.
And I'm Cam.
and we thank you in advance for your iTunes patronage and reviews, stars, etc. as we advance to tonight's episode, which is all about the rather exciting discovery of a close, relatively speaking, rocky planet, which scientists seem to think may have the potential to, well, be Earth-like or hold life or something along those lines. Before we get to that, though, we should probably keep things a little closer to our rocky existence by regaling you with tales of our recent past. We do so, of course, with our traditional Weekly Weekly Roundup. And Cam, why don't you let all the Terrans know what you've been up to?
Sure. I've been doing a lot of stuff actually lately. I've been home now for a few weeks from my travels, so finally sort of digging out from all that stuff. I got I went to the movies this weekend. I saw oh God, what's the name of that movie? It's a remake. Ben-Hur.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the Ben-Hur movie.
You're the only one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, me and my mom and some shady guy in a trench coat in the back were like the only people in there. But
Oh, gosh.
it wasn't horrible. It wasn't good. I'd say there was some parts where there's some decent action. It was just a familiar story. So, and my mom's a sucker for a bunch of that, like that biblical stuff and whatever.
Sure, yeah.
So she was into it. So that's all that really matters. It's time spent with mom, So that was cool. So checked out that movie. I got my fiance into two different series, and they're sort of nerdy, not really. Dexter, I guess, would be the nerdiest of them. I mean, at least it deals with science. She had never seen Dexter, so it's on Netflix. I threw it on. We watched the first couple episodes, and she was like, "Yeah, I really like this. This is something I could probably be into." And I'm not going to watch all 8 seasons with her. I just watched the first couple and explained a couple things to her, just so and then I'll let her go off and do her own thing with it. But the one thing that I got into, and I watched all 7 of the current episodes, and then watched all 7 again with her after. Was it's an HBO series called The Night Of. Have you guys heard of it?
Oh, I've seen it, yeah, but I've never watched it. I think I've caught bits of it, and it looked very interesting.
It is spectacular.
Yeah.
Spectacular. It is not really in any way nerdy unless you sort of want to. I mean, I guess it shows a lot of like the culture of like us being surveilled. You know what I mean? Because a lot of it has to do with like piecing together this murder that happened on a night in New York or whatever. And so I guess the technology stuff is kind of cool, but other than that, it's just a straight gritty like crime drama or whatever. But it is. I don't know if you guys remember like all the hubbub about True Detective a couple years ago with like Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. I'd say it's on par with that. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. It hits close to home, but I had a particular interest in it because I lived in the area for a while, but I mean, who hasn't? I mean, everyone has some sort of tie to New York, but I like New York, like, crime dramas, but it has specifically to deal with the Pakistani community in New York.
Okay.
And the kid that is basically on trial for murder or accused of murder is a Pakistani. First generation, born here like I was. Parents are immigrants. Drove a cab. Shocker. Just like my dad drove a cab. Like same kind of thing. So it was really cool to see like that like sort of cultural aspect thrown in. And the acting is spectacular. The actors that they have in there are spectacular. I highly recommend it to anyone and it's quick. You can watch it. It's like a self-contained miniseries. So it's only 8 episodes. There's 7 that have been out, and the eighth one, the finale, is on Sunday. So if you have HBO, if you have 6.5 hours, 7 hours to kill, just watch them. I watched them all in one single night. I literally started at like 10 o'clock at night and watched all the way through to the morning.
Wow.
And then the next day watched 3 of them, 3 or 4 of them with my fiance, and watched the next 3 the next day with her. So it's that good. I really recommend it.
Nice.
Other than that, tabletop gaming. Got a bunch of games in from Yellow. They had sent me a bunch of games that they wanted me to play and demo. Of course, gaming at the Adventure Game Store. I was there actually till like 2 a.m. last night playing games with the guys there. And I started teaching. I started not started, but the semester started, so I'm back teaching at one of the local law schools here. So
Nice, man.
yeah.
Plenty going on. Are you allowed to mention the name of the local school? I'm kind of curious. I think I know it anyway, but if you don't...
It rhymes with Bova.
Right. Okay. The famous Dova school.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay. Cool. All right. Cool.
I mean,
Nice, man.
It's not a secret. I have a faculty page you can Google, but
That's being a professor is pretty nerdy, isn't it?
yeah, I would say.
Nice. Nice.
But good crop of students so far. I'm looking forward to the semester. So
Cool, man. I hope that you do your part to supply us with some highly competent lawyers. Or chemistry PhDs, as the case may be. I don't know where you teach or what you do.
I'll do my best.
Great. Awesome, man. Sounds like a full week. What about you, Brian?
I've been in another world. I was at MizuCon Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I don't know. It really does feel like just stepping back into reality after all that. So it's kind of the only thing. I don't have any idea what I did before Friday, and then Monday I just laid around, kind of like eating and hydrating and resting, and here we are.
I lie around eating and hydrating and resting that's like my default. So at least you had an excuse to do it.
I'm intrigued by I guess con culture or whatever. I don't know anyone who actually eats or drinks properly at conventions, let alone vendors. Vending is just not stressful, but a hardship over the weekend. And wow, I mean, it's definitely worth it. It's fun. I wouldn't change it, but God, I'm kind of glad it's over, at least for 2 weeks until we do it again.
Yeah, such are the rigors of con season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going as a fan, or are you working with our friend Lester and his photography outfit? I think you may have said before, but...
Yeah, I was there with the photography.
Okay. Feel free to drop that name. Feel free to do a little name drop if you want.
LAE Cosplay Photography. That's definitely no secret. I usually whore that out. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I think I was telling you guys just about EY a little while ago. That was a little bit more casual cosplay.
Yeah.
Some really good quality cosplay this past weekend. Some really nice. Star-Lord was very popular. One of the God, I don't remember his name. His cosplay name is Deca Mexican, and I guess he's actually been officially employed as some Red Ranger recreationist. He's one of the leading Power Ranger cosplayers.
Cool.
And what do you call it? Whatever, Fallout 4 main character. The roamer, the traveler.
Sure,
I don't
yeah.
remember. That guy.
Badass.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Some cool pictures. I think they're all up by now. I guess it's Wednesday, right? They should be.
Yeah. Little known fact about LAE Cosplay Photography, they do not take photos of cosplayers. They take photos of attendees in regular clothes while these two large men, are dressed as Sailor Scouts. So that does not happen, but I think people might pay to see that, Brian.
I could do a Sailor Scout. I think. I mean, the skirt's long enough.
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah.
It's not like too revealing.
Well, no need to be modest. I mean, be proud. Be loud and proud.
Yeah, let me know and I'll be there with the camera.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, it's work, but it's enjoyable work, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, your passion that you get to follow, and sometimes you get paid for it. Not all the time, but.
Cool, man. All right. Anything else?
No. At least nothing I remember.
Okay. All right. That brings it to me, and I was working last week at helping a friend out with a convention, not a nerdy convention, but something I help out with every 6 months or so. And so I was pretty busy with that, working some long days. But it was in nearby Orlando, Florida, home to a few theme parks you may have heard of. And at the conclusion of all that, after having thoroughly exhausted myself all week, we popped over to some theme parks and transferred from the hotel where the event was to a Disney hotel where I worked. I did a full work day on Friday and then went to the park that night and then the next morning before popping over to my dad's for a visit, who lives nearby. And some cool stuff happened at Disney. We got to go on the new Frozen ride, which does not belong in Epcot, in my opinion, for reasons I could get into in a whole long, nerdy Epcot discussion. But which nevertheless was really, really well done. They are really getting good at these rides, man. It's like Disney's done it once or twice.
It's almost like they know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, the articulation on the animatronics, and, they do the projected, eyes and facial expressions or what have you. Those have just gotten really, really good. And it was impressive. It was impressive. And we walked on at the park was closing. Epcot was closing at 9. At 8:58, we walked up. It said 90 minutes. We're like, it can't be. And the guy kind of gave us the wink of the nod. It was only a 20-minute wait, so it was very reasonable. Yeah. And that ride is really cool. So I commend Disney. They did a good job. I wish they had put it in Magic Kingdom and Fantasyland instead, but they had just completed the build. I think they were in the process of the Fantasyland retooling when Frozen was an insane success. They were like, we got to put it somewhere. And so it landed in Epcot. But so we did that. Went to Be Our Guest for breakfast, the famed Beauty and the Beast themed restaurant, which is so hard to get into. We scored a breakfast reservation there, and there was a little mishap with our order. Now, I was in full crank mood because I should say cranky mode, because I was tired. I hadn't had coffee. I'd been working all week. I was just full on grump. And we get there, and there's a line, and I'm just not happy, and blah, blah, blah. And then my companion orders her food and gets it, and I'm waiting. And finally, we ask after our food if she wants the receipt, and I don't have the receipt. It's this whole crisis, right? Because I'm just in full meltdown mode, like a baby, because I'm, I haven't had coffee, and I'm tired. Anyway, Disney puts up with my crap, and not only do they make it right by bringing me my food, they also bring us the signature dessert, which I think is called the gray stuff from that song. Yeah. And it's just this really nice little cake. And they gave us a pass for 2 to any ride of our choosing. And we promptly went over and used that on the Snow White ride, the Seven Dwarfs, which is extremely hard to get on. Yeah, so that was totally unexpected. And when I handed the guy the pass, I'm like, can I use this here? Because they give you a paper pass. He's like, yeah, oh, it says no Frozen. You could have gone to Frozen. Then yink, takes it. But apparently they give out passes, but they tend to write except Frozen, because I guess Frozen is in such crazy demand. But a free ride on the Seven Dwarfs was worth it to me. Interestingly, it turns out right at the end of the summer, when the kids are starting school, the next week. I am not a fan of Disney in August. I haven't been there this time of year in forever, but it was not so bad. The crowds were definitely noticeably reduced as most of the families are gearing up for the school season.
Sweet.
Yeah, so we're getting into, for Disney fans, for people contemplating a trip to Orlando, Florida to partake in our theme parks. We're getting into a nice little lull season. It's a good time to go. It's hot as Hades, but crowds are very reasonable. And that's it. Did some Disney. Ordered a new fitness band. My Microsoft band died, so I'm in the process of having that replaced. And I lost my Fitbit band, so I'm in the process of having that replaced because they gave me a discount. So my fitness gadgets are in the process of are in the midst of a refresh right now. And anybody who has seen my physique will wonder why I have so many gadgets. Turns out they don't actually make you fit. You have to do all that. But that's pretty much it for me. And then a little video gaming, typical stuff. Nothing super exciting to report. Oh, one little thing to report on now that I think about it. Thinking I would do something nice for my companion, I downloaded a game called Never Alone, which is about a little Inuit girl and her fox friend who go on an adventure together. And it's kind of a platformer, a 2D platformer. Well, when the girl dies, when my companion, she was playing the girl, I was playing the fox. When she would fall off a cliff, or a polar bear would kill her, or something like that, the little fox would curl up and cry and make a whimpering noise. She couldn't take it. After a while, she's like, I can't do this. And the breaking point was not only was my fox whimpering, then a polar bear came and whack, sent it flying across the screen. She's like, nope, I can't play this anymore. So my nice awesome. My nice thought was not so nice. That's it. That's it on the gaming front. Don't ever assume that anybody likes anything you think they might like. That's the moral of that story. Speaking of which, we should also never assume that any news is good news. And with that segue now laid down, Cam, why don't you bring us the news, good and bad, in the news extravaganza?
News extravaganza coming at you. Now, speaking of your significant other, your companion, Tom, if you were going to get married, would you like to have a Lord of the Rings themed wedding? And do you think she would put up with that?
I would like that, and I mean, to marry a guy like me, I would think that she'd put up with just about anything.
Well, Sean Parker, the guy who founded Napster and was a Facebook billion, I guess he's made billions through Facebook as well. He married the singer Alexandra Lanus. I don't know who she is, but I guess she's a big deal. So he had a 300-person wedding that was Lord of the Rings themed, and it reportedly cost $10 million just for the wedding.
Whoa!
$10 million. They went so far as to hire Nagila Dixon, the designer. Basically, she's clothing designer, wardrobe designer from the actual movie trilogy, and she designed all of the basically what everyone wore at the wedding. It would have been $1.5 million more expensive if he would have gotten his biggest wish, though, which is that he wanted Sir Ian McKellen, the guy who played Gandalf, to officiate the wedding, but he wanted him to officiate the wedding as Gandalf.
Whoa.
Yeah, and
Whoa.
So Sir Ian McKellen was like, "Sorry, dude, no. keep your 1.5 million. I'm good.
I'll keep my dignity, thank you."
Yeah. Although, I mean, dude, 1.5 million for an hour of work, maybe at the most. I mean, all you got to do is sort of officiate the wedding, and maybe take some pictures, and then you're out of there. I don't know, man. I mean, I guess if you got that kind of, I mean, I'm sure he's not hurting for money, so probably not a big deal. But I can think of a lot of people that would take that deal any day.
I probably would take that deal. Yeah.
I'm sure Sean Bean, Eddard Stark, and also who is he, Boromir, I think.
Yeah.
Would have probably done it.
One does not simply walk into marriage.
Exactly. One does not simply say "I do."
Right.
Yeah. So, and then if you are to have your marriage, Tom, your Lord of the Rings marriage, you can celebrate by a gift that I would probably give you, which is the Xbox onesie.
Ooh.
Xbox has created a onesie that you can wear while you play. It is only available in Australia as of now, but hopefully we'll be hitting stores worldwide. And after you guys play your games, You can basically you can watch some movies. And do you guys remember the old movie Jumanji?
Yes.
Well, apparently, I think it was Robin Williams did that film, right? Well,
Yeah.
apparently there is a reboot coming. Well, they want to make it clear that it's not a reboot; it's a sequel. But apparently, our favorite bro, Dwayne the Rock Johnson,
Yes.
is going to be starring in the Jumanji story, the
Can't wait.
Jumanji sequel.
Can't wait.
So look forward to that on your honeymoon. And if you want something a little scarier, The Ring is being rebooted. I don't know if you guys know
Ooh,
that. Knew
very
that.
appropriate for a
Uh,
wedding.
yes, The Ring is being rebooted. It's apparently called Rings.
Oh.
Keeping with the Lord of the Rings theme.
Hmm.
It's called Rings, and now the VCR tape, the VHS tape, is not I guess not going to be a thing anymore. Instead, they're going to be using online video.
Okay.
I think it's going to be video spam, basically, in an email
Mm.
link. So cursed HTML
Smile
link.
Dog, the movie.
Yeah,
Wow. So it's like a pop-up video you can't close.
exactly. Um, Tom, all these I don't know all these stories
Yeah.
were for you this week. I know you are a lover of robots and all things automated in your home and in your life.
Yep.
There is a cute little bear. The bear is called Bearbot,
Of course.
and it replaces every single one of your remotes in your house.
What?
It's a universal remote. And there's no buttons. It's no giant touchscreen. It's just a little bear, and it's basically like a little well-trained circus bear. And it does everything. It waits patiently, and you issue instructions with your hands. It's just like little gestures that you make in front of his face, and he performs all the actions. Like you can adjust your thermostat, you can raise or lower your blinds, you can dim the lights, you can fire up a movie on your home theater. It's all hands-free control. So look for Bearbot. Looks pretty
I am looking at the Indiegogo site actually as we
cool.
speak.
Looks pretty cool and looks pretty cute, actually.
I wish I knew what a euro was because I would give them some.
And apparently, I think the facial expressions change as well. Like his little face changes. Like he can be like, oh, and like smile and stuff. Like,
This is too stupid for me not to buy it. Like this is just absurd.
yeah.
Wow.
And if you want to drop some more money on some tech, you can buy North Korea's newest streaming video device. The only problem is it's called the Man Bang.
Of course it is. Yes.
It is not for porn or anything like that. Apparently, Man Bang means everywhere or every direction in Korean,
I see. Yeah.
and
Okay.
so they decided Man Bang would be a good name. I mean, it's North Korea. What do you expect?
What is it? Does it just show the great leader on like loop 24/7 or?
Probably. That's why it's a Man Bang.
Sorry, the dear leader. Dear leader.
Yes, exactly. Speaking of dear leaders, so back in 1972, the Royal Norwegian Guard took a trip over to Edinburgh, and they went to the zoo at Edinburgh, and they were gifted a penguin. They adopted this king penguin, and they named it in honor of Norway's king Olav. What is V? V is the 10, right, or 5?
5th. Yeah.
Yeah, Olav the Fifth. And they also named it after this guy Major Nils Egeline, who was a soldier who came up with the idea to make the penguin part of their adopted guard. So over the years, this penguin has had progeny, and the progeny have all been inducted into the Royal Norwegian Guard. And so at this point, Sir Nils Olav III is the most recent progeny of that king penguin from 1972, and he has just been promoted to honorary brigadier general of the Norwegian Guard.
Wow.
And he's super cute. He marches back and forth, and he salutes with his little flipper, and it's pretty awesome actually. So if Norway ever gets attacked, Sir Olaf will be on the front lines. And Tom, for you, Nintendo. Did you know that Nintendo was the majority owner of the Seattle Mariners?
I did know that.
Did you
Yeah.
know that? Well,
Yep.
apparently they are no longer.
They sold it, huh? Yeah.
Yes. They have sold their stake for $661 million.
That's a lot of money.
And they've dropped from the 50% shareholder to 10%.
Oh, they kept the little stake. Okay.
Yeah, so good for, I guess, good for Nintendo shareholders, not so good for the company. I think it's been struggling, and that's why they did it. And it's
Nintendo or the Mariners?
no Nintendo.
Huh.
They've been struggling, and the Wii U failed to sort of live up to its promise, and the share price surge with Pokemon Go has helped, but I think the numbers are a little smoke and mirrors. I don't think they're making as much on Pokemon Go as people think they were,
Right.
and so that sort of jump in share price has been tempered recently. But I guess Hiroshima Yamauchi, the CEO of Nintendo back in the early '90s, he's the one that invested in the Mariners back in 1992, back when they were dominating, and that was actually they made quite a good a return on their investment. I think I think they bought the stake for 125 million. So then they got a return of 661 million for only 80% of what they bought.
Oh
So
wow.
that's pretty good, not
Yeah.
bad.
Why do you think they kept the 10%?
Probably just because they wanted to have a stake, in the. I think aren't they their U.S. operations headquartered there as well? They probably.
Yeah, in Seattle. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they probably just wanted to keep a small stake, but yeah. So they're still owners, but just not the majority owners anymore.
Okay.
And finally, we all have Instagram accounts, yeah. Brian,
Yep.
you have one, Brian?
Just the Nerd Extravaganza one, actually.
Oh, okay. You don't have your personal one. All right. Well, that's actually kind of
Don't.
good. That's actually kind of good because someone can go to your Instagram account and predictably, with great accuracy, determine whether or not you are clinically depressed. Researchers looked at 500 different Instagram accounts and interviewed the test subjects, and based on the colors and the filters used, the type of pictures uploaded, their model was able to reliably predict which users were clinically depressed.
Wow.
Yeah, just based on the photos you upload. I mean, anecdotally, you could sort of go on there and be like, all right, this guy's fucking depressed. He's putting on, he's putting on like Marilyn Manson type shit or whatever. Then I guess that makes sense. But apparently they used a lot of different metrics and even things that are sort of benign, like pictures of flowers and stuff like that. Even pictures of flowers can determine whether you're depressed depending on what kind of filter you use.
My
The
black roses say something about me.
yeah, the angles you like take them, whatever, take the pictures in. So if you're depressed, maybe you might want to submit your Instagram account and see.
Yeah. I should make one.
And speaking of depression, let's talk about the death of our planet and the nearby planets that we may need to move to soon.
Oh yeah, let's. Um, and is that the segue from the news into the topic, or did you
Yes,
have
yes.
a
No,
death of our
that's it.
planet news story?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
No, that's it.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, I got the ball on that one. Right. That brings us to tonight's topic. Thanks, by the way, for all the news tailored for me. I
No
appreciate
problem.
that. Yeah. That brings us to tonight's topic and getting the hell off this planet and getting somewhere else. It turns out, and Brian, thank you for bringing this to our attention. This was breaking news today. That it's really no big deal. I mean, we just get a light speed thing, and we're there in 4 years?
4.2, they're saying?
Yeah, that's easy, right? Let's not say it's easy, but
I mean, it's certainly easier than it's ever been before.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think probably the scientific community is tempering it with some measure of cautious optimism. But yeah, I think what before this wasn't the nearest thing 10 times farther away or something like that. Some crazy measure of distance. Whereas this you got to figure if we get something that can go some reasonable fraction of the speed of light, this almost seems within reach, right?
Yeah, I think as far as the survival of a species, you're talking 100 years. That's pretty damn believable, pretty actually realistic.
Yeah, yeah. Well, before we dig into what we've read about, why don't you go ahead and fill in the audience on exactly what we're talking about in case they missed it?
So I think Cam mentioned something about the system last week, right?
Proxima
Yeah,
Centauri or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Proxima Centauri, but apparently there's a certain distance from the star that's considered the habitable zone for radiation and um, heat and everything. Within that habitable zone, there is a near Earth-like planet that I think they're saying likely to have an actual atmosphere. Now, of
Nice.
course, that doesn't mean, I guess, what life is guaranteed, but like I said, like much more likely than it's ever been before.
Yeah, yeah. Well, much more likely and relatively close to us, right? In terms
Right,
of
astronomically close to us. I mean,
right,
that
right.
you cannot get much closer than. I mean, doesn't Proxima mean like
Close.
next?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I would think so. Yeah.
it's kind of the next one over.
Yeah, that star is our sun's nearest neighbor, I think, or that system anyway. So right, it's just kind of a lucky find that we found that like right next door, you know. And I'm pretty excited. Of course, that's still a large distance, no matter how you slice it. But I mean, let's just say you got something that went a tenth the speed of light. A space probe that took 40 years to get there, that could get there in someone's lifetime, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. And then I guess the communications would take 4 years to reach back to us, so it wouldn't exactly be like live streaming, but to actually get back some basic data to indicate, yeah, I found water, yeah, I found X, Y, and Z. Yeah, that's kind of awesome. Um, I don't know, that excites me almost more than the near Earth stuff that we've been discovering, like revelations about Mars and what we think is going on nearby moons.
I'm not so cautiously optimistic. I guess I'm being a little like fanciful, but I really I feel like with the right conditions, this could just spark this new age of wonder. I mean, our the starships we sent to that could be the new Nina, Pinta, Santa Maria. Like,
Wow.
I don't see any reason why it's just absolutely impossible. You know?
No, me neither. I really appreciate your optimism. I mean, I think I guess I temper my optimism because like you get all the jerks like, oh, we can't even fix potholes here, but yeah, it's really tantalizing, right? To think of a possible like potentially habitable or at least somewhat Earth-like planet, like that close. And I wonder. I mean, do you think we'll actually end up doing a mission there? Do you think that like that NASA's going to take a serious look at this or other space agencies?
I, Again, this is pure fancy, but I would really like to see either a nation like China or possibly a corporation like SpaceX get interested in this. Because I think the thing that people complain about, like China beating us back to the moon, is even if it's not technically like legal, like there's not really anything we can do if they're the only ones on the moon from just like to stop them from strip mining.
Oh yeah, yeah, for basically exploiting whatever resources are there, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think someone somewhere has to be just thrilled at the prospect of a planet of that.
Interesting. So you're looking at it from the standpoint of possible like a source of resources, even if not like an ideal home, like a rocky planet full of pretty much everything we would ever want or need.
I'm kind of hedging my bets a little bit on that. I think that's the most attractive thing to the kind of people with the money you need to get there. I
Mm,
would love to say like actually let's just launch arcs and colonize,
sure.
but I don't have the funds, so
Yeah, 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 yeah. Neither do I. I don't have the planetary exploration money at hand. What do you think, Cam? You think Brian's maybe on the money here with this kind of exciting people about possibilities of, you know, travel and exploration?
I think we need to. I mean, I think it's necessary. Um, I think NASA and all the space exploration programs are having trouble sort of getting people on board, and it's a lot of the short-sighted thinking we've talked about before, where it's like, oh, I can't put food on the table, or you know what I mean,
Right.
and not even that, but like even sort of like the Kardashian effect, if people just so focused on shit that doesn't matter, you know what I mean? When really these global it's a lot easier to just focus, and you can't blame people. People just want to get by, they want to have fun, they want, they don't want to be bothered with, these big problems. So I get it, but we really need to start thinking not in the span of our lifetime or even our children's lifetimes, but in the span of like, 10 generations down the road. What's the world going to look like, and what's the future of us as a species, and I really think that efforts need to be made to get people excited about things like this, because at the end of the day, as far as I can tell, and as far as greater minds than I, certainly, like Hawking and people like that, have said that really the only thing, if things keep going the way they are, this Earth is not going to support us for much longer, in the global perspective anyway.
Yeah, I
And
really can't imagine we have 10 generations left.
yeah, and so we need to figure out where the fuck we're going and how we're going to get there sooner rather than later, because I mean, for us, it's not going to matter. We're going to be dead and gone long before that. But knock on wood, anyway. But you know, it, I mean, I want, I still have compassion. I want our future, even if I'm not related to them, I still want our future, people and race to have somewhere to grow and prosper.
Sure. Yeah, you and
And
me
so,
both.
yeah, and I'm willing to kick in a few bucks, every month from my paycheck or whatever, or my tax money to figure that out,
Yeah, well, that's Brian. So I think I share your optimism, like in general. Of course, I'm cautiously optimistic because I've been disappointed by like people's priorities before. But can you see this changing like priorities at all in terms of where our money would be spent for exploration? Could you actually see more studying or more funds going into studying this new body that we found?
Okay, the last time I'll qualify this again, like hopeless optimism here, but I really think practically everything's in place for this just to be like 1960s space race again. If we get like a great mind, like I don't know, it's Elon Musk, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
If Musk really gets behind this and says, we're going to pump a bunch of money into this, and we're going to be the first country to get there because of what would happen if the other countries beat us there, and this is, a national pride thing or whatever. What I'd really like to see is for us to just like as a like planet, culture, humanity, get behind this and say, like, look, we need to stop spending so much on wars and really figure out what's going to happen. Like this is, I don't believe there will ever be a better chance. Like, there's not going to be a solar system between us and this.
Yeah, you're not alone, obviously, in that observation and those sentiments, Brian. Now that since you mentioned that, I want to say something. One of you mentioned Stephen Hawking, I think, as a potential great mind, and in researching for this, this was linked straight from the CNN article I read about this very topic. It turns out that there is actually a project envisioned by great minds, including Stephen Hawking and Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook fame, uh, to actually get us to a nearby planet. And I think it's actually called Starshot. And I think their goal, I'm actually rereading the item here so that I don't misquote it. Right. They think that they could reach the system within 20 years, and beam home and it says in beam home images in the CNN synopsis. So let's see, 4.2 years away. So that would be traveling, I guess, 1/5, or reaching a speed of about 1/5 the speed of light as this thing accelerated. And I don't know. I think that would be awesome. I think imagine in your lifetime 20 years to get there, and really meaningful images coming in 25 5 years after that. Let's say, by the time they reach us. I don't know. We could be alive to see that. That's amazing to me.
I don't like. I just said it. I'll say it again. I don't think there's ever going to be a better chance. I don't think we'll ever have, without becoming starfaring technology to get us there faster than 20 years.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
this is kind of a do or die, not die, but like a shit or get off the pot situation.
Right. Like, it's at least worth a really close look, I think. Like, I hate to say that this is going to like fade into the background of most people's minds, but damn, this is like really if it really bears out what they think it might, this is I don't know how to put it.
This is a new age.
Yeah, it could potentially. Yeah, potentially. I don't think it's much of an exaggeration to say that. What
about
you, Cam?
I'll just go. I'll go on this. I will say, like, we don't need most of the people on board for this. Like, let them stay small-minded. I don't know if in the 1950s most of the people were on board with, like, jet technology and trying to leave the atmosphere. And it became a dream because people were doing it. It became this fascination because people were like, holy shit, that's really possible? You guys weren't joking?
Right. I think with like such minds and moneyed personalities behind something like this, we could get it started. Would you donate? Would you? So Cam, you mentioned that you definitely would. Would you like donate to some like 10-year-long Kickstarter or something? Like give a little bit every month to see something like this come to
I think I would. I mean, it would have, but see, it's sort of like chicken and the egg. It's unfortunately is with a lot of these things. I mean, I would give money to Elon Musk for sure because the guy has a proven track record. You know what I mean? But like, look at that whole stupid mission to Mars thing that we talked about last year or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was just such a freaking scam. And so, if it was someone that I believed in and someone that like was like, all right, guys, like, I'm not making you any promises because I don't want guarantees either. I don't need, that's fine. If it's just someone that I believe in, like Elon Musk or even, some of these other guys, like Richard Branson, I mean, I could get behind him too. I mean, he's he seems like a man of action, like it's someone that I think is going to reasonably, has a vision that's similar to mine and is reasonably going to put their best foot forward and try to get this done. I'd put money into it for sure. For nothing, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even really like, I don't want a seat on the first one that goes out, or whatever. Like, I mean, it'd be maybe a little recognition or a little pat on the back or a SpaceX T-shirt, or you know what I mean? I would be happy just to know that I was putting money into forwarding, advancing our race, as a whole.
Yeah, I'm with you. And as far as whose names you might want to put your money behind, so I mentioned Hawking. I'm looking at the board of directors for this organization. The organization, I believe, is called Breakthrough Initiatives. And you've got Stephen Hawking listed first, Yuri Milner, who is the founder of DST Global. I'm not familiar with that individual or that company, although I probably should be. And Mark Zuckerberg, founder and CEO of Facebook. So
that dude gets a lot of hate, but he does some pretty scientific like stuff. Like, I actually love what he's done with the gliding Wi-Fi hotspots to bring internet to like shitholes.
Yeah, me too.
That stuff's pretty amazing.
Why is there so much hatred directed at him?
That fucking movie.
Oh really? Like the movie where they like did they make him look bad in that?
Anyone know his name if it weren't for that movie?
No. Did they kind of smear him in that?
No, they would, because like he's always like your first friend on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, right? Like, isn't he like?
No, that's Tom.
That was Tom from MySpace.
dude.
Oh yeah, that's right. My
Yeah.
bad.
Tom's just like sitting back counting his money now, and like I don't want to be anyone's friend anymore. I don't care.
Yeah,
But,
that guy cashed out. I think he made like 600 million. Was like, peace out, and then MySpace just fell apart.
yeah.
Cashed out at the right time.
Zuckerberg's done some douchey shit, hasn't he? Isn't he the guy that cut down that like forest for his wedding or something? Like,
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, is that worse than like a $10 million Lord of the Rings wedding though, in terms of extravagant expenses?
wow, it was in terms of like environmental damage.
Oh yeah, okay. If he cut down some endangered forest for a wedding, that is pretty shitty. But he can make up for it.
Like I said, no one's perfect. I mean, you know, people that are really improving the human condition can be forgiven a little bit. Like, Jesus Christ, I stick up for Columbus every year. I can stick up for Zuckerberg.
Right. And who knows? Maybe he'll entice Musk and others to join. Join the cause, right?
You know, as long as they do it on their own, I don't even care. Competition might be good. Maybe they do need to rush.
Yeah.
Or a race.
Maybe, yeah. Battle of the billionaires. Time out for a second. Cam, is Brian sounding okay to you?
No, it's pretty
staticky.
pretty staticky, yeah.
If I disconnect, we're gonna lose my sound for Zencaster, so I can't do much about it.
Okay, we can just live with it. I guess it's gravelly, but it's comprehensible. I guess.
Yeah, you sound like
Starscream.
All right, we'll bring it. We'll bring this one home then. In that case.
Yeah.
Anyway, it would seem the cosmic forces have intervened to degrade our audio a little bit, guys. So I think we've kind of voiced our support of pursuing this lead, let's just say, and I've pointed out one project with some luminary names behind it, aimed at kind of taking a closer look. I really hope that this like is a podcast where recording that is actually at the dawn of like this cool new direction for humanity. And I don't know, that almost seems overstated, but you know, we're nerds, so we're allowed a certain degree of hyperbole. And yeah, I think this really could be like a new age of like, or a massive expansion to this new age of exploration, at whose doorstep we find ourselves. Maybe I agree with your sentiments 100%, Brian, and bringing this to our attention for discussion was a great idea. What do you think, Cam?
I agree.
Yeah, I think we're. Well, I don't know. I if we could actually get photos or video or something back from a body that far away in my lifetime, I wouldn't say I would die a happy man, because dying is not going to make me happy in the first place. But I would scratch that one off the bucket list, I guess. See, exoplanet photos, and if it were to turn out to be a planet that actually did support life or could support life, that would be like mind-blowing. Then they have to come up with the like life extension technology so I can go there. And I really wish we weren't plagued with audio issues right now, because that's another I think kind of like tie-in. When the universe gets bigger, don't you want your life to last a little longer so you can see more of it?
For sure.
I almost think those go hand in hand.
Well, you have relativity to expand it.
Oh, that's true, Brian. That's true. I watched that Interstellar. I know all about it now.
Well, the other thing too is that which is something I never thought about, and it was really cool. I thought in Doctor Who, I think it was this last season, where there was this sort of immortal who was Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones,
right?
And the Doctor ended up making her sort of this immortal, but she had an immortal body, but her memory wasn't immortal. So she would live so long that she wouldn't be able to remember all the shit that she did. So she started, she didn't even know who she was at some point, so she started like writing these journals so that she could chronicle like her life and go back and read, what she did 700, 800, 1,000 years ago. So I wonder if that would be something we would need if we extended our life beyond, the foreseeable
Yeah,
100 or so years.
that's something I wonder. Like, do you run into like some like storage limits or recall limits of the mind at a certain point?
Yeah,
As
I
you're
mean, because I don't remember most of the shit I did when I was 4. You know what I mean, or 5.
right.
And that wasn't that long ago. I mean, imagine what if you were like 150. I mean, you're gonna remember what episode 225 or
I would.
to go
I
back
mean,
and listen to it.
I would, but we're segueing. We're diverting a little too far into I think what could be a pretty
True.
cool episode topic. So
True.
let me reel us back from there, back to near Earth orbit, as it
Not a
were.
problem.
And I guess with that, we can kind of bring this episode in through re-entry into a safe landing. That was good. I thought that was
Nice. Yeah, I did. I like that.
okay. Well, audience, thank you for listening. We will see you on Proxima Centauri's. Is Proxima Centauri the? Oh, it's Proxima B, which is like one of the planets orbiting that star. It turns out. So we'll see you there for the Ganza party. And until that time, we invite you to entertain. You know what? During your journey to Proxima B, you should probably bring with you our entire archive. Speaking of remembering things,
Absolutely.
and you could do that by iTunes. You can probably stream via Stitcher. I'm sure by the time we get missions going, we'll have streaming that'll reach that far. And if neither of those work for you, check us out, of course, on Google Play Music. It'll help you pass the time on your way to our new home.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, add us to your Google Circle, and join the Nerdstravaganza HQ group on Facebook.
Blast off over to the website nerdstravaganza.com and check it out. All of our back episodes, blogs, RPG content, all kinds of good stuff over there for you to check out. Check out all of our exclusive video content on YouTube. Just type Nerdstravaganza into the handy dandy search bar and you will find us. And rock it on over to Gmail and hit us up, nerdstravaganza@gmail.com. Send us an email and let us know where you want to go in the universe.
And with all that said, Brian, take us to our new home.
I don't know if you can hear me.
I thought you were going to do a Starscream. No, Prime!
Good enough. Good night, everybody. Until next time. Until next planet.
See you guys.